The discussion section is a common sticking point for many authors when writing up their research papers. However, once you learn the template that almost all discussion sections follow, you realize it's actually quite simple. In today's video, you'll learn how to write the discussion section of your research paper in just 5 simple steps. Make sure to watch this video in its entirety because step 3 might surprise you. Step 1, summarize your key findings. The first step is to provide a 1-paragraph summary of your key findings. Now you might be thinking, haven't I just included my results in my results section? And you would be correct. However, the purpose of this paragraph is to provide a convenient and familiar place for the reader to find the key outcomes of your study. Just take a look at any other study from your field, look at their discussion sections, and look at paragraph 1. Almost always, that paragraph will be a summary of that study's key findings. Where the results section acts as an inventory of all of your results, the first paragraph of your discussion acts as an executive summary of the findings that matter most, especially in relation to your research questions or hypotheses. So list each of your key findings, each one sentence, one bluntly after the other. Step 2, compare and contrast your findings with other work. Now that you've listed each one of your key findings, it's time to discuss them each in greater detail. After all, our job as scientists is not only to find things, but also to discuss how what we've found relates to what others have found. Take each one of your key findings and give them a separate paragraph. In those paragraphs, restate the finding and discuss how what you found relates to what others have found in other studies. This could be other studies, different study species, different geographical locations, climates, or even methodologies. Ask yourself, did they find the same as you, or did they find something different? Do your results line up with theoretical expectations, or do they break the rules? All answers are equally interesting here. Remember, any result is better than no result. It's really how you package it. Step 3, and this one might surprise you, but you should speculate as to the hypothetical explanations for what you see in your data. This step is easily the most overlooked step in the discussion sections of newer authors. Remember, the reader doesn't just want an itemized list of every result the field has ever produced, they're also craving some explanation for why your results do or do not line up with theoretical expectations. It's simply the next logical question. The reader is thinking, okay, but why? Newer researchers can often feel intimidated and actually fear any kind of speculation, but this would actually be unscientific. This is your opportunity to generate new hypotheses about what might be going on in nature. Many amazing discoveries in science began with curious researchers who weren't afraid to speculate as to what forces might be at play in their data. So don't be afraid to speculate, embrace it. Just be certain not to state your speculations as certainties, because that will almost certainly upset the reviewer. Step 4. Acknowledge your study's limitations. You've arrived at what I like to call the humble pie section. No matter how great you think your findings are, it's time to eat some humble pie. For the sake of presenting a balanced case and remaining objective, like all good scientists should, it's time to discuss the limitations of your findings. Look, all great findings come with caveats and limitations. No study has the definitive final answer to the universe. For example, you might have discovered a strong relationship between the size of endemic birds and their likelihood to go extinct. While that's certainly a fascinating find, it would be overzealous to extend what you found in birds to other animal groups without further empirical investigation. So to present a balanced case, you might suggest that given the shared evolutionary mechanisms between birds and other animal groups, you expect the same relationship to exist in mammals or reptiles. Not only does this keep your discussion section objective, but it also opens the door for other researchers who can come in and try to answer the questions that you've left behind. Here are some common limitations that you can include in your humble pie section. Whatever you do, try to keep your humble pie section within 2 paragraphs. Any longer than this and it really starts to distract from the central thread of your paper. Step 5, the final step. Share your recommendations for future research. In science, we don't often get to share our opinion, but here in the final paragraph of your discussion, you should really use this opportunity to share your recommendations for how you think that the field should progress. Do not just state that more studies need to be done. That helps no one. Please don't do this. Instead, give concrete ideas about how someone else can improve upon or expand upon what you've done. If your findings have important implications outside of academia, you should mention these here. For example, if your findings have implications for a conservation management strategy of an endangered species, then you should mention that that strategy needs to be adjusted in light of your findings. If your findings demand further investigation, you should also mention this here. For example, they might contradict our theoretical understanding of the study system, and therefore demand an adjustment of our theory, or an entirely new theory. Finally, to close the paper out, leave the reader with an important take-home message. This should be an important one-liner that really summarizes the key outcome of your study. Congratulations, you've just written a thorough and balanced discussion section for your research paper. A well-written discussion can do wonders not only for getting your paper accepted and helping it stand out, but also for long-term citations because other authors will cite the ideas that you discussed within that discussion section. You've put a lot of work into getting your research done. So why not get it professionally edited and increase its chances of getting accepted in a high-impact journal? Our scientific editors include former journal editors and publishing veterans whose expertise can be the difference between you getting that rejection letter in the morning or you getting published in the high-impact journal of your dreams. To get your paper professionally edited, click the link down in the description. But wait, before you send your paper off to your favorite journal, you really need to make sure that you are writing an effective cover letter. Be sure to watch this video and download the free template to increase your chances of acceptance. In fact, here, let me just give you a minute to click it. It's just gonna hover right here. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.